Welcome to Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Monday Night Raw results from June 1st, 2020. Birthdays for the week. Montez Ford is born 1990 and May 31st. June 1st birthday, James Cowboy Storm, 1977. Alicia Atout, 1995. AJ Styles was born on June 2nd, 1977. Lex Luger, 1958. Velvet Sky, Let the Pitches Loose, 1981. And Timothy Thatcher, 1983. And wrestler from Impact Wrestling, Grado, 1988. A lot of NXT talent were not happy following last week's TV tapings. Previously reported, NXT and developmental talent were used at the WWE tapings last Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Wrestling Inc. learned that the talent had to meet at Full Sail on those days at 10 a.m. for testing. Then, the talent was not given COVID-19 tests, but were given temperature checks and a questionnaire to fill out. The talents were then bused to the Performance Center at 11 a.m. for the tapings. Their return time was not until 10 p.m. that night. The talent had to stand for the matches and could only sit during breaks, so they had to keep getting and returning chairs. Things got even worse Thursday when Adam Cole vs. Velveteen Dream match for Sundays in Your House was filmed. Fightful Select first reported that the match was shot outdoors behind the Full Sail University campus, but was told that it might be another cinematic match with cars surrounding the area and the headlights being used for lighting. Fightful noted that the talents were told to arrive at 7 p.m. However, it was raining and they weren't able to start filming until after midnight. Wrestling Inc. learned that the talent didn't get home until early in the morning. NXT TakeOver in Your House takes place this Sunday, June the 7th. New subscribers can sign up for the WWE Network today by clicking or go by www.com and get the first month for free. Yes, they have a free version of WWE Network, which includes TakeOver to Sunday. Always, when you sign up for paying, you get the first month free. Game Changer Wrestling has announced the passing of GCW and CZW wrestler Danny Havoc, aka Grant Berkland. Here's an announcement from GCW. With a broken heart, the GCW family mourns the loss of Grant Berkland, aka Danny Havoc. Danny was an incredible talented, intelligent, caring, and genuine person. He was an elite performer that entertained a generation of fans and inspired a generation of aspiring performers. Like those that passed before him, his legacy is secured by the memories that he bestowed upon us both as a wrestler and as a friend. He will not be forgotten. Rest in peace, Grant. Danny Havoc was trained by Mike Quackenbush, DJ Hyde, and Chris Hero. He made his official CZW debut in 2005 at the CZW Tournament of Death. While with the company, he was a two-time CZW Ultraviolet Underground Champion, CZW World Junior Heavyweight Champion, and two-time CZW World Tag Team Champion. He made 6 appearances for GCW over the last several years. He went to GCW after coming out of retirement. Several wrestlers and promotions reacted to the news as well. CZW wrote on Twitter, "This cuts too deep. Grant, Danny Havoc, Berkland was an inspiration to so many, and as a friend to all, and hearts go out to his family and loved ones. We can take a small comfort in knowing the entire wrestling community are sharing the same grief right now." Impact star Sami Callihan wrote, "Absolutely heartbroken. I wouldn't be who I am today without Danny Havoc. Absolute genius who never got the credit he deserved. I'm beyond privileged to have been able to travel the world with him. Reach out to your loved one. Life is so short. Love you, Grant. R.I.P." NXT star Mia Yim tweeted, "Dang, Hashtag RIP Danny Havoc. AEW star Danny the Bunny wrote, Danny Havoc always extended kindness to me and welcomed me into the CZW family. My heart hurts for his friends and loved ones. According to PW Insider, Danny Havoc's wife, Brianne, passed away earlier in the year. WWE is taking Armando Alejandro Montalvo back to court. No, that's not Armando Alejandro, the one that runs his mouth all the time in WWE. But he was the one that was on WWE's radar since he was shot by an Orange County sheriff deputy outside the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, after an incident in 2015. He was first found competent to stand trial in that incident. He was later found incompetent in 2017 and temporarily sent to a state mental hospital. Montalvo has been involved in several incidents related to WWE and court since then, and he was incarcerated for the same time. He was also banned from all WWE events. The video that was shown from the original incident, nothing recent. WWE has a civil hearing against Montalvo scheduled for Monday, June 1st in Orange County, Florida courtroom. The show call's hearing is related to two May incidents that happened outside of the WWE Performance Center in Orlando. Dave McKinnon, who works event security for WWE Performance Center, noted in court filing that he has witnessed Montalvo harassing WWE and its employees for the past 5 years. He also wrote that Montalvo has continued to ignore a court order from March 22nd, 2019. That said, Montalvo was prohibited from the Performance Center. The permanent injunction order was to bar Montalvo from several locations related to WWE Performance Center, being one of them. McKinnon then alleged that he witnessed Montalvo outside of the WWE Performance Center this past Monday, May 25th, presumably during the Raw TV tapings. He wrote, on May 25th, 2020, WWE hired an off-duty deputy with the Orange County Sheriff's Office as extra security to sit outside the Performance Center in an unmarked car. And approximately at 9:40 p.m., I parked my vehicle out in front of the Performance Center. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 9:49, I encountered the defendant while I was still at my vehicle. The defendant began his loud ranting, and I asked him why he felt a need to yell and be disruptive. In response, he told me that he needed to. The deputy called the Orange County Sheriff's Office to send additional units in marked vehicles for assistance, and they arrived in a few minutes. I saw the defendant was wearing khaki pants, no shirt, and had around his neck what appeared to be an American flag or some type of red and white striped fabric. The defendant was holding a cell phone in his right hand and a piece of dark clothing in another fabric in his left hand. The defendant remained in the roadway, blocking vehicle flow out of WWE's property. As the deputy began to close in on him, though he would move to the side, I filmed the defendant with my mobile phone, and he was blocking the traffic in front of the Performance Center, aggressively screaming and yelling wildly and very loudly, while I was not able to understand everything being said. He did yell WWE and was screaming about wrestling and fans. McKinnon then wrote about including a copy of his own video and added, "It is my opinion that the defendant was manipulating the reactions from the law enforcement officers and making his presence known by his screaming and generally disruptive behavior. During this incident, I counted at least 5 times that I thought the defendant was retreating and leaving the premises, but each time he returned to continue his rant. The defendant's last presence on this evening was when he drove his white cargo van towards me and the deputies, then drove in front of the Performance Center again, and finally he left the premises towards the far south exit of Forsyth Commerce Parkway. McKinnon added his statement by describing a Facebook live stream Montalvo had done this night, which you can see embedded at the bottom of the post. I did not get the link. I do apologize. The filing also includes a declaration from Sergeant Scott Ames, a 20-year employee of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Ames wrote in the filing, from time to time over the past several months, I have also been employed by plaintiff WWE to provide them with security detail at the Performance Center, as well as additional locations where WWE holds events. On May 15, 2020, I was working as WWE security at the Performance Center. When about 1800 hours, I witnessed defendant Armando Alejandro Montalvo arrive at the premises. The defendant was running or sliding back and forth and waving his arms wildly. He was also yelling, but I was not able to hear what he was saying. I filmed him with my mobile phone through the windshield of my car. The defendant ultimately left the premises without incident. Ames then wrote, Montalvo was allegedly returned to the premises a few days later on Friday, May 22nd, while Ames was providing security detail to WWE. The defendant was walking in front of the premises and screaming loudly and uncontrollably. I was not able to understand what he was saying again. I did see the defendant was holding his mobile phone. I began filming the defendant, Ames wrote. Ames wrote that he was providing video from his own phone, and he did with the aforementioned incident. He added, the defendant ultimately left the premises without incident, as the defendant was still in front of WWE property. I visited his Facebook page to see if he was live streaming the incident and learned that he indeed had done so. So you can probably go to Facebook and see any other. If you can even find do a search on it. Ames used his own phone to record Montalvo's live stream from Facebook. He also included a link to the May 27th live stream from Montalvo, which was embedded. Did not get the link. Following the incident on Monday, WWE made their filing on Wednesday, May 27th. Montalvo was served his copy of the filing, May 27th, by Federal Express at his home. He has since made the court date public on his public social media, which also shows he has put more attention on focus on WWE as of late, after apparently staying away from the property for some time. Stay tuned for more updates on the matter. If I find the links again, I'll post them. Coronavirus outbreak forced WWE to change a lot of their plans for WrestleMania 36. And new interview reveals that the COVID-19 crisis forced them to nix a huge angle for the show involving the Nexus returned. Former WWE star Darren Young recently had an interview with the VP show where he revealed an interesting angle that was planned for the show. Former Nexus member claimed that the group was set to make its return during this year's edition of the shows, but the plans were canceled. Probably Wade Barrett wouldn't have been there. Anyways, if Nexus would have come back, who knows what would have happened. But we were scheduled to come back for WrestleMania. Yeah, this year's WrestleMania in Tampa. The Nexus debuted on WWE TV June 2010. Originally consisted of 8 rookies from the first season of NXT, including stars such as Daniel Bryan and Heath Slater. There have been reports that WWE planned a big angle that would have unfolded over the weeks in spring and summer, which the promotion canceled due to the coronavirus. After this revelation, the big question is if the Nexus reunion was the angle the company had planned, and if the officials could still execute it somewhere down the line. WWE has banned the bucklebomb recently. Thus, why Seth Rollins is no longer using that, or Kevin Owens as well. It was reported yesterday that WWE, on Sunday, banned the use of bucklebomb, power bombing someone into a turnbuckle. In an update to the story, Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio That debauched move from Nia Jax to Kairi Sane in a match on Raw from April is what led to the move being banned. Remember the show a couple of weeks ago where Nia Jax wrestled Kairi Sane and she threw her in there and we were all worried. Meltzer asked his co-host, I think she was going for the middle one and I think she hit the bottom one, but whatever. It didn't look good. That was the one that caused it. And she was supposedly, I think, cut open. It was also stated that there were those in the company uneasy with the move after Sting's injury from 2015. Sting suffered an injury after taking a bucklebomb from Seth Rollins at the Night of Champions 2015. It was the final match of Sting's career ever. Because of what happened to Sting, I was almost surprised it didn't happen then. Meltzer continued, there were people who were wanting it banned before that. It was one of those things where the people were, where there were people against it, and then the thing happened. It was kind of like that was the straw that broke the camel's back, and Vince banned it. He would continue to say, however, that he has not heard of power bombs onto the ring apron or barricades being banned. Well, if the buckle bomb was banned from that, it should also be on the ring apron as well. Because that's the hardest part of the ring. On this week's WWE TV, it was mentioned on air that all of its superstars were tested for COVID-19, but according to the latest Wrestling Observer Radio or newsletter, that's not the case. Aside the temperature checks and just simply asking talent if they didn't feel well, no actual COVID-19 tests were done. Very similar to what we do at work. The report noted multiple people in the company were shocked at this, considering UFC had fighters pass their temperature checks and then later tested positive. As noted, WWE began putting NXT and WWE Performance Center stars in the crowd at this week's show, where they had to stand and cheer for lengthy amounts of time. Thanks to the source of Wrestling Observer newsletter, the latest home workout episode for Sheamus and the Celtic Workout YouTube channel featuring Jinder Mahal at this link. And Sheamus wrote as a video description, WWE superstar Sheamus, aka the Celtic Warrior here. He's Indian, he's big, and he loves to work out. Why else would I make my way to Tampa in crazy hot weather to see Jinder Mahal's brand new lockdown garage gym? If there's one good thing to come out of the pandemic, it's people are now seeing the benefits of creating home gyms and finding new ways to work out. Case in point, the modern day Maharaja. That's right, Jinder's loving life with his all new gym equipment, and he's even designing his own custom exercise. See Jinder Curl. Search it on YouTube. But it was all about arms and core with your standard 3 sets of 10 reps, but nothing else was standard. As usual, I learned a lot from this workout, and I'm sure you will too. It's the second time I've had Jinder on Celtic Warrior workouts, because the guy knows nothing but brave change. Lashley took to Twitter after Raw and went with a warning to the champ. Try all you want at DM McIntyre WWE. I'm not letting go at #backlash, he wrote. Here's a clip. This is a clip from Sting, the last tape, which is available now on demand on the WWE Network. In the clip, Macho Man Randy Savage joked about owing Sting money from a gin game, but doesn't plan on ever paying him back. Go to the link. WWE Network News is reporting that the latest WWE Break It Down will feature R-Truth. The episode will premiere on Friday, June the 5th, and will look at Truth's long career with the WWE. The Nexus. Back to the Nexus angle. The Nexus was only around for a year and a half, but it seems like so much longer due to the imprint they made in WWE. 2010-8 rookies from the first season of NXT invaded an episode of Raw and destroyed everything in its sight. The group feuded with the likes of John Cena and Randy Orton, while CM Punk would later become the leader of the stable. But after the departures of various members, the faction disbanded in 2011, and the 8 original members went on varying degrees of success. There's been rumors of a Nexus reunion ever since, but the closest thing was 3 members reunited during the Indie Show 2018. However, like I said, Darren Young said that the plans were in place for the Nexus return, grandest stage of all. Two separate reports, that's what it is. As explained to the VP show. If Nexus would have come back, who knows what would have happened. We were scheduled to come back for WrestleMania, said Young before confirming that he was referring to WrestleMania 36. Who knows if it will ever happen again. It was supposed to happen at WrestleMania, which would have made it 10 years. I don't know if you could do it 11 or 12 years in, maybe 15 or 20. But that 10-year mark was this year's WrestleMania. Oh well. Young would add that he didn't know specifically what WWE had planned for them, but he was going to be at Access and doing something for the network. Coronavirus pandemic and relocation of WrestleMania was likely the catalyst that caused the change of those plans. Another former member of the group, Heath Slater, had also advocated for the return of Nexus. Shortly after being released by WWE, with the last couple of weeks, Slater said to Wrestling Inc., if Nexus came back full, Tilt and Wade came back as our leader, and we had the solid 7. Then, man, watch out now. Back in January, former member of the Fantastics team, Bobby Fulton, announced that he was beginning chemotherapy due to throat cancer. Earlier today, Fulton tweeted out an update announcing the most of the cancer was gone, except for a small tumor. He writes, most of my career is gone except for a small tumor. Please continue to keep me in your prayers and thoughts. Fulton was a multi-time champion across several different promotions, including NWA, UWF, Jim Crockett Promotions, Smoky Mountain, and he's a member of the War Wrestling Hall of Fame. I would like to wish Fulton a speedy recovery, as he's also a friend of mine on Facebook as well. I also wish him a speedy recovery, and also explain my situation with my gallbladder issue. I had 2 stones, and now they are almost completely gone. I've done nothing but my normal, everyday eating, no change of diet or anything. Only thing that I can say is thank God. He's the ultimate physician. Also noted earlier today, WWE superstar Dominic Dijakovic teased on Twitter that he may be the one to challenge new U.S. champion Apollo Crews on Raw. Dijakovic was scheduled for a call-up to the main roster to work Raw soon. In an update, Fightful Select reported that Dijakovic will not be wrestling during Raw episode on the USA Network. While Dijakovic isn't wrestling on the tape show, the report noted that he is one of the talents appearing in the crowd as fans, and that could lead to some sort of angle, but for his debut, not happening. It's also possible that Dijakovic video aired to hype up his official Red Band arrival, as well as WWE did with Matt Riddle during Friday's SmackDown on Fox, with Kurt Angle announcing his thing. There was also a rumor that Kurt Angle was also going to be his manager, but Angle himself turned it down. Shelly Martinez spoke about ever wrestling again on the latest episode of Shelly Live Show. I don't care about money. Wrestling was never about money for me. I was at the bottom of the totem pole as far as pay went in ECW because I was just a valet. I was very happy with what I was making. But that's all I ever wanted, to make enough money to help my sister and my grandma for whatever they needed. If somebody were to be like, hey, would you manage Kevin Thorne over here? Or if WWE were to be like, we want to bring you guys back, and you're going to get this awesome payday out of it. I have no interest. What more is there to do? The biggest heartbreak to me were the people who hurt my feelings. So if I were to go valet Kevin at a show, chances are I will see them. Why would I want to put myself in that situation again? It's just like a breakup. I broke up with wrestling. We're done. I have somebody else. We go to a nice fancy dinner, invitation with my ex. There's no reason to go back into that world. Rob Gronkowski has been released from WWE after a 2-month stint, according to Wrestling Inc. Gronkowski requested his release so that he would pursue his NFL career, and WWE has granted it. The release was made after Gronkowski lost the 24/7 title to R-Truth on Monday's Raw. He exercised a clause in the contract that relieves him of all future commitments with the company. Gronkowski is joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's still a no-compete clause in his contract following his release, but no time frame has been made public yet. Rob Gronkowski was only with the company for 10 weeks, where he won the 24/7 title and helped out WrestleMania. As Rob was originally only supposed to work a program for WWE 3 times this year. He was set to host WrestleMania, which he did. The other 2 events are SummerSlam, which we reported back in March, and the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. Due to Gronkowski's release, he won't be fulfilling the remainder of his dates. The original plan was always for him to host WrestleMania, but he was supposed to have his first match at SummerSlam. No official word on what his role at the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view would have been, but likely another match. But no longer likely. Most likely scenario is that he had a clause in his contract that stated he could be released from his commitments if he planned on pursuing football again. He cannot contractually wrestle while signed with NFL, and no team would risk that. Gronkowski will be joining Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thanks to F4W Online for that news. WWE star and Raw Tag Team Champion Montez Ford recently spoke to the Wrap to talk all things pro wrestling. Highlights from his interview, which included him discussing his want to smoke, catchphrase, and possible singles run. You can hear below as I finish the reading, and don't forget his birthday. So the thing about wanting to smoke is a way of life. It's a terminology that is like pretty much when I start my day. It's a brand new day. I'm blessed that it's a brand new day that I haven't seen before. And we want the smoke is pretty much asking whatever happens that day. Whether you got to pay a bill, whether you got to go to work, whether you got a really hard CrossFit workout, whether it's a deadline you got to meet, whether it's a board you have to go on, or a competition, or anything you have to do, in which you have to excel. We want to smoke it. Like, already just bring it. It's another way of saying, bring whatever has coming to me, you know? On a possible singles run? That's a good question. When is the right time for a tag team? I think when one of the individuals starts feeling themselves. I think when one of them starts feeling themselves and the other individual is like, you know what? I'm better than this guy. I'm way better than this guy. I'm sick of this guy. He's late. He doesn't try to do anything. He doesn't work. He's not trying to be number one. He's not trying to be champion. He's not trying to be on TV Guide, The Wrap. He's not trying to have interviews at 2:30 in the afternoon. He's not trying to be number one in the press. He's not trying to be God. He's not trying to do anything. I think that's when it starts coming to that point where it's like, okay, when one of you guys feel like they have access me, they have got to trim the fat. When I think that's when it's like, okay, when other guys feeling themselves, when the egos start showing up, I think that's when it's time to cut the cord. But right now, there's no egos. Case Angelo Dawkins is a pretty hefty guy, so I can't really depend too many of the big guys when it comes to like some type of ring competition. So he's probably going to be around me for a long time. And now for your results for Raw. Raw opens up with a normal intro video, live from the taping from the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, as Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's chimed in by Byron Saxton and Samoa Joe. We see NXT developmental trainees in the crowd as fans and announcers hype the show. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre versus MVP was announced. Raw Women's Champion Asuka versus NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Viking Raiders versus Street Profits in a game of bowling. Plus, we will hear from Rey Mysterio. Supposedly, Rey Mysterio's retirement ceremony. We go right to the ring. Out first comes Seth Rollins, Murphy, and Austin Theory. Tom mentions Rollins hosting a retirement ceremony for Rey Mysterio. Rollins and his group are booed by the fans in the crowd. We see how Theory, Murphy defeated Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black last week. The crowd chants, "You suck" at Rollins. Rollins says, "This is a huge night at Raw with a lot going on." He brings up his match with Black happening in the next few minutes. Black has left Rollins no choice but to enlighten himself. Rollins says Rey will be on Raw later on to speak to everyone. He believes Rey won't be able to announce his own retirement, and that's understandable, as Rollins has taken it upon himself to handle that formality for Rey. Rollins goes on about Rey being sacrificed for the greater good of Raw. If that isn't legendary, Rollins doesn't know what is. Rollins goes on and says he's prepared a video package to honor the career of Rey. We see the video now. The video also shows Rollins recently hurting Rey. Rollins come back and says it would be his honor to personally retire Rey. Music interrupts. Out comes Black. Black rushes the ring and unloads on Rollins. Black clears the ring and wants more. We'll go to commercial. So your first match, Seth Rollins versus Aleister Black. Back from the break. Bell rings. Officially starts the match. Seth Rollins and Aleister Black stare each other up and down. Black strikes first. Back and forth in the middle of the ring now. Black takes it to the corner with strikes, and the referee warns him to back off. Rollins fights back, but Black sends him to the floor, retreating. Rollins ends up pulling Black out to the floor, but Black kicks him in the gut. Black rolls Rollins back in the ring, but Rollins drop kicks him to the mat. Rollins mounts Black with right hands. Rollins then kicks and stomps while his disciples look on. Rollins with a stamp suplex for a 2 count. The crowd tries to rally for Black. Now, when Rollins grounds him, Black fights up and out, but Rollins lands another drop kick. More back and forth. Rollins misses a stomp and an insecurity. Black nails a big kick to the head. Rollins sends Black over the top rope and out to the floor face first. Rollins directs Theory and Murphy to approach Black. Music interrupts. Out comes Humberto Carrillo out with a steel chair. He stands over Black and stops Rollins' disciples from doing any damage. Back to commercial. Back to the break. Rollins has Black down in the corner. Black tries to fight back. Rollins misses a drop kick. Rollins fights Black off, but runs into a big kick. Rollins with his sling blade for a 2 count. Rollins keeps control and hits the running knee in the corner as the crowd boos. Rollins dominates and plays to the crowd for more boos. Rollins comes off the top with a knee, but Black dodges it and goes to work himself. Black with a sliding boot, baseball slide, and some posing for cheers from the crowd. Black goes on to hit the moonsault for a 2 count. More back and forth on the mat. Black with a big kick to the head and a German suplex for a 2 count. Rollins fights back and hits Falcon Arrow for a 2 count. Rollins fights back on the apron. Now as Black has control, Black ends up sending Rollins into the ring post and then to the floor. Black nails the moonsault from the apron as we go back to commercial. Back to the break. Rollins blocks a superplex and sends Black to the mat. Rollins nails a frog splash for a 2 count. Black dodges a stomp and locks in an arm bar on Rollins. Rollins gets free, waits for Black on the apron. Rollins springboards in, but Black cuts him off with his big knee. Black looks for Black mask, but Theory and Murphy distract him from the apron. Carrillo distracts them. This leads to Black getting upset. The upset win over Rollins. After the bell, everyone is shocked at the win. Rollins orders Theory and Murphy to attack Black, and they do. Carrillo gets involved, but he's also beaten up in the ring. Rollins nails a stop on Carrillo, while Theory and Murphy hold Black, forcing him to watch. Rollins talks Black and talks more trash to him, then hits a stomp while the crowd boos him. Rollins' music starts back up as he stands tall with Theory and Murphy. We go to replays. Rollins poses on the ramp with his disciples. announcers plug the return of Raw Talk with the host Charlie Caruso and Samoa Joe. Show premieres after Raw goes off the air. We get a look back at Apollo Crews winning the U.S. title from Andrade last week. Charlie is also backstage with Angel Garza and Zelina Vega now. She shows Garza's controversial win over Kevin Owens from last week. Vega interrupts Caruso, but Garza interrupts her and says he's got this. Garza flirts some with Caruso. And Vega says they believe the win over Owens was triumphant because he saw something and took it. Garza flirts some more, and Vega rolls her eyes at them. Garza walks off after giving her a rose. Vega grabs the rose after he left, and Caruso received it from Caruso and ripped it up and smiles as she walks off. Still to come segment, Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels talks Edge versus Randy Orton. Back commercial. Back from the break, we see a video from Randy Orton versus Hall of Famer Edge from Backlash. So at Backlash, setting up the match. Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels provides comments on the match and picks the rated R superstar to win. We'll see what happened between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley last week. MVP is backstage with Lana now. They have some words, and Lana slaps the MVP in the face after they accuse each other of trying to use Lashley. She walks off as she goes back to commercial. Back from the break, we get a video on Rey Mysterio and what Seth Rollins did earlier. Kayla Braxton is in the ring now. She brings out new U.S. champion Apollo Crews to a pop from the fans at ringside. Braxton congratulates Crews as he talks about how he can't believe he's standing here as champion. She brings up tonight's title defense and asks if he's decided on who his opponent will be. There are a lot of superstars he'd like to defend against, but this superstar he's picking is truly deserving. Kevin Owens. The music hits and out comes Owens. U.S. title match. Kevin Owens versus Apollo Crews. Yes, it's a title match. How predictable will this match be? Stay tuned for the results. Kevin Owens comes out, hits the ring with a microphone as Apollo Crews awaits. Owens congratulates Crews and they shake hands first. Sportsmanship. Owens appreciates the offer, and he's certainly not one to turn a title shot down in WWE, especially since it's been a while since he had one. But he feels like this is almost coming out of pity, especially after what happened between he and Angel Garza last week. Crews says it's all about respect, not pity. Owens says that Garza will get what's coming to him soon enough. Owens says he does feel bad because Crews' first title reign is going to be a real short one. We get promo ring introductions from Mike Rome. Back and forth start between the two. Crews with a big drop kick for a quick 1 count. They end up tangling on the apron and on the floor. Owens with a big senton from the apron to the floor on Crews. Owens brings it back in and ends up hitting another senton, but Crews kicks out. Owens goes for the pop-up powerbomb, but the kick may have been low as Crews goes down holding himself. The referee checks on Crews, and the replay makes it hard to tell if it was a low blow. The referee checks on Crews again, but he wants to continue. Owens is frustrated as fans rally for Crews. Referee backs Owens off. Crews gets up, and they start trading big strikes, brawling back to the floor together. Back to commercial. Back for the break. They're still trading big strikes in the middle of the ring. Crews unloads. Owens headbutts him. Owens runs into a boot. Crews with a power slam for a 2 count. Owens blocks an Olympic slam. Owens levels Crews with a big super kick for another close pin attempt. Owens jumps to the second rope and nails the moonsault for another 2 count. Crews dodges a pop-up powerbomb again. Hits an insecurity. Crews with an Olympic slam for a 2 count. Crews with a standing moonsault for another close 2 count. In the middle of the ring, Crews with a big running splash in the corner. Crews backs up and runs again, nailing another splash. Owens is still standing. Crews runs and misses this time. Owens drops him with a super kick. Owens goes to the top for the senton, but Crews gets his knees up and Owens lands hard. Angel Garza and Andrade suddenly rush the ring with Zelina Vega right behind them. Referee calls the match a no contest, as both Crews and Owens were getting beat by Garza and Andrade. They stand tall and our smiles as the crowd boos them back to commercial. Well, we'll come back for the break. We got a tag team match instead. Angel Garza and Andrade versus Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens. As the match is already underway, Kevin Owens issued a challenge during the commercial. Andrade unloads on U.S. champion Apollo Crews in the corner. Angel Garza takes over as the leader cheers them on from ringside. Garza ends up leveling Crews in midair, then tossing his tights at Owens on the apron. Garza grounds Crews and works him over. Andrade gets back in for a quick double team. Andrade stomps away on Crews now. Andrade with a running boot to the face. Garza tags back in for more double teaming. Garza with a 2 count on Crews. Garza grounds Crews again. Crews blocks the wing clipper and tags in Owens. Owens chases Garza, but Andrade tags in. Owens gets dropped with a cheap shot as Garza shows off on the apron. Andrade grounds Owens and works on the hurt knee, applying a single leg Boston Crab. Owens breaks free, but Andrade stops the tag. Andrade and Owens trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Owens with an inverted atomic drop and a big clothesline. Owens with a senton. Owens looks for the cannonball on Andrade, but Garza distracts him from the apron. Owens gets dropped by Andrade. Crews tags back in, but Andrade hits a snap suplex. As the announcer called it, snapdragon suplex. Crews blocks the next suplex with an Olympic slam. Garza takes out Owens' knee to prevent a tag on the floor. Owens gets sent into the announce table as Crews and Andrade tangle in the ring. Andrade rolls Crews up and tries to use his feet on the ropes for leverage. Crews with a big insecurity and a sit-down powerbomb to Andrade for the pin and the win. Winner, Apollo Crews and Kevin Owens. After the match, Crews stands tall as the music hits. Owens joins him in the ring as they embrace. And to raise their arms, we go to replays. Kayla is backstage with Andrade. No. Kayla is backstage with Asuka now. She is confident about beating Nia Jax at Backlash. And regarding Charlotte Flair tonight, she says Asuka is always better while Flair stays the same. The Empress never bows down to anyone. She walks off. So to come second, a game of bowling between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits. Back to commercial. It's time for the bowling battle between Raw Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, and the Viking Raiders. They're at a local bowling alley with lots of comedy. The same woman from the past 2 segments appears. Well, I know for one, it wasn't the bowling center that I tried out for Team USA back in the day. Winter Park, Florida, as well as my brother. The one who keeps giving Ivar a pass because he's cute. But doesn't think Eric is cute. Midnight bowling hits and Profits step it up. Angelo Dawkins calls it smoke season as they taunt the Viking. Eric sends the ball down the alley with Ivar attached to it. Strike. Vikings win to tie their non-wrestling feud at 2-2. Which will happen last week between the Iconics, and WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. And looks like we're getting a rematch. Nope. Billie Kay versus Nikki Cross. We get back to the ring. Iconics beats a hit, but the camera cuts backstage to 2 teams arguing. WWE producer Adam Pearce appears and gets in between them. We go to commercial. Back to the ring. Women's Tag Team Champion Nikki Cross goes at it with Billie Kay to start. Women's Tag Team Champion Alexa Bliss and Peyton Royce are at ringside. Cross fights Kay off and makes her from the turnbuckle to turnbuckle for a pop. Kay goes down. Cross keeps control and nails a drop kick for a 2 count. Kay kicks Cross away, then levels her with a big running boot. Cross kicks out too. Kay argues with the referee. Thought she had a 3 count. Kay takes Cross to the corner and kicks away. Kay with a boot to the throat now as the referee warns her. Kay with a suplex for a 2 count. Kay talks trash to Bliss and Cross rolls her up for a 2 count. Cross looks him out, offense, but Kay levels her with a big right hand for another 2 count. Kay grounds Cross in the middle of the ring. Kay keeps Cross grounded and taunts her while Royce does the same at ringside. Cross tries to fight up and out, but Kay drops her with a backbreaker. Kay does her Iconics pose. Kay drops an elbow on Cross for another 2 count. Kay argues with the referee some more, and Bliss just laughs at her. Crowd boos. Kay slaps Cross around and taunts her. Cross fights back. Cross takes Kay down with a running forearm. Cross with a running shot to the corner and a bulldog for a pop. Cross goes to the apron and uses middle rope to kick Kay back. Cross goes to the top for a crossbody, but Kay moves and she hits the man hard. Kay grabs Cross and hits the boyfriend stealer for the pin and the win. Winner of the match, Billy Kay. After the match, Bliss checks on Cross in the ring. Iconics pose on the ramp as the music hits. Charlie's backstage with Drew McIntyre asking if he's concerned about Bobby Lashley when it comes to facing MVP tonight. Drew loves challenges, and if MVP wants to get back in the ring to take another Claymore, that's fine with him. Lashley can have another one too. Drew goes on about lining everyone who wants one up and giving them one-way ticket to Claymore Country. He walks off. Still to come, injury update from Rey Mysterio back to commercial. Back from the break, Tom announces Seth Rollins, the Viking Raiders, and the Raw Tag Team Champions, Street Profits, for the return of Raw Talk on the WWE Network later. After Raw, Joe and Charlie are the hosts. We go to Rey Mysterio, who is checking in live from his home. Rey isn't sure if or when he can return after Tom asks him about the eye injury. Joe asks Rey if he will retire, and Rey says he doesn't know. He could be cleared to return in a few weeks, or he could never get cleared. He definitely wants to give an answer. We just don't know yet, but it has been a question he's been thinking about for some time. Joe asks if there's anything at all Rey would like to address about Seth Rollins' retirement ceremony for him tonight. Rey says Rollins carries a lot of negativity to be a messiah. Rey says for Rollins to say Rey was chosen as a sacrifice is just wrong. Rey says he wasn't chosen by some higher power. Rollins tried sidelining him. Rey's son Dominic appears and says what his dad is trying to say, as Rollins is no messiah. He's barely a higher power. Dominic says something needs to be done. Something by a member of this family. Rey tells his son to chill, but Dominic asks how he can chill. Rollins is full of a bunch of BS, and we both know that. Rey talks Dominic down and thanks everyone for reaching out and their concerns, adding that it truly means the world to he and his family. Rey knows they're looking for an official statement on Rollins' retirement ceremony, so here it is. Rey says, dang Rollins for everything he's put Rey and his family through. Rey's family helplessly watched as Rollins jammed his eye into the steel steps. Rey goes on about how hard it was for his family to watch. Rey goes on and says he truly is a man of forgiveness, but he will never forgive Rollins for what he did to him and put his family through. Dang you, Rey says to Rollins again. Rey walks off, but Dominic still stays on camera and stares at the camera and says, Rollins is a man of scripture, huh, so? An eye for an eye. Dominic walks off now and warns him. Nia Jax versus Kairi Sane. We go back to the ring. Out comes Nia Jax as the fans in the crowd boo. Jax takes the mic and says she did not start this feud with Raw Women's Champion Asuka and Kairi Sane. Jax says she has been attacked by them both repeatedly. A classic 2-on-1 attack. She warns everyone not to fall for their acts. It's all smoke and mirrors. Asuka didn't win the title. She was given it because of hormones. Because Becky Lynch got all pregnant and felt guilty because she couldn't wrestle. She goes on and promises to expose Asuka. Jack's music hits. Tom hypes tonight's appearance by 24/7 champion Rob Gronkowski. Back commercial. Not live appearance. Back from the break, Tom showed us last week's video promos from R-Truth and WWE 24 champion Rob Gronkowski, where they issued warnings to each other. We see a video from earlier of Monday, supposedly, of Gronk with a title at his house. His friend is filming him to do a TikTok video. We see R-Truth dressed as a gardener. Gronk's friend tells him not to worry. Gronk's friend takes off his jacket to reveal a WWE referee t-shirt. This leads to Truth getting the pin and the win. The title back. Like it's a millionth time winning. He outdid Ric Flair 16 times, long time ago. Truth taunts Gronk and runs off with the belt. Gronk's friend says Gronk has a new career now that he needs to focus on. He's with the NFL Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gronk is upset, but he's thinking about it. End of the segment, we go back to the ring. Out comes Terry Sane and Jack Swayze. We see Oscar backstage watching as Sane enters the ring. Jack takes control and starts dominating early on. Sane jumps on her back with a sleeper hold. Jack goes down to her knees as Sane tightens the hold. Sane comes out of the hold and unloads with strikes. Sane with kicks to the head, but Jax is still on her knees. Sane with more strikes for a pop. Sane goes to the top, but Jax meets her with a big headbutt. Jax brings Sane off the top for a big power slam, but Sane turns her into a DDT, but Sane can't put her away. Sane stops around and gets the crowd hyped up. Sane with a sliding knee in the corner. Sane goes back to the top, but Jax rolls to the floor for a breather as the crowd boos her. Sane runs the ropes for a baseball slide, but Jax moves. Jax slams Sane face first into the apron. Jax pulls Sane out and launches her face first into steel ring steps. Referee checks on Sane. Jax grabs Sane and brings her back in as the crowd boos. Jax drops a big leg over Sane and covers for the pin and win. We get a look back at last week's promo by Hall of Famer Edge. Randy Orton is shown backstage watching. Back to commercial. Randy Orton is backstage now. Orton talks about how he's been catching up on WWE Network content, and he knows how everyone thinks WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair is the greatest to ever do it. He agreed, but then he tuned in to Raw last week and saw the Nation Boy say Orton is the best to lace up the boots. Orton tells Edge that he once said the same. Edge also said 2 weeks ago that Orton didn't have a passion for the business and he was handed everything. And he just did this for his paycheck. Edge said Orton was complacent, and he was right. Orton says Edge can't stand it, that he's phoned it in, but did it. And still accomplished more than anyone else in the back. Orton says Edge scratched and clawed to pretend to be the heroes from his childhood. Orton just had to come in and lace up his boots to prove he was the best. Orton says at Backlash he will prove he's better than Edge. Orton brags about setting the bait, and Edge went for it. Orton says Edge's storybook ending will be rewritten by the 3 most destructive letters in sports entertainment. RKO. Asuka versus Charlotte Flair was your next match. We go back to the ring for tonight's non-title champion versus champion match. WWE Women's Champion Charlotte Flair makes her way out, poses in the ring, and we go back to commercial. Back to the break. Flair is in the ring with a microphone. She taunts and has more words for the developmental talents in the crowd after they boo her. Flair wants one of them to be the next Rhea Ripley or Io Shirai and step up to the throne so she can make them bow down. Speaking of bowing down, Flair knows a woman who has history of bowing down, our Raw Women's Champion, Asuka. Flair goes on about Asuka's accomplishment and says it seems like the Empress wants to be like the Queen. Music interrupts and out comes Asuka for the non-title match as the fans cheer her on. Back and forth with some taunting and showing up to start. Flair shoves Asuka and kicks her to the gut. Flair talks trash while taking Asuka to the corner head first. Asuka blocks a shot, but Flair drops her with a strike. Flair with a big chop and another. And then another in the corner. Flair keeps control and lands a knee. Flair drops Asuka and keeps control as we go back to commercial. Back for the break. Flair shows off and wastes some time. Keeps Asuka down. Flair focuses on the knee. Asuka dodges a shot to the leg and rolls Flair up for a 2 count. Flair comes right back and unloads with a knee to the injured knee. Asuka comes out of the corner with an elbow, but Flair rocks her and Asuka goes down. Flair misses another shot to the knee. Flair comes right back and drops Asuka with a shot to the face. Flair talks more trash, but Asuka fights back and gets to her feet. Asuka unloads with strikes now. Flair blocks the spinning back fist with a kick to the knee, taking Asuka back down. Asuka comes right back with a big high knee to the face. Asuka keeps control, nails a hip attack in the corner. Asuka goes on and lands a German suplex. Asuka with a shining wizard for a close 2 count in the middle of the ring. The crowd rallies for Asuka again and goes up top. Asuka misses on the way down. Flair misses a natural selection. Asuka goes for the armbar, but Flair resists. Asuka transitions into the triangle, but Flair drops forearms on her and tries to break free. Flair powers up and turns Asuka's submission into a Boston Crab in the middle of the ring. Asuka flips out of it for a 2 count. Asuka goes into a knee bar, but Flair powers up once again and nails a big German suplex. Flair fights Asuka off with a back elbow. Asuka catches Flair with another armbar in the middle of the ring. Flair powers up once again and turns a submission into a big sit-down powerbomb. Asuka still kicks out. More back and forth now. Asuka kicks the figure 4, attempts away. Flair knocks Asuka off the apron with a big boot. Asuka lands outside the ring. Asuka's music hits, and out comes Nia Jax, mocking Asuka, wearing one of her own masks, mocking Asuka. Asuka walks up the ramp and gets counted out. Winner by count out, Charlotte Flair. Asuka turns back to look at the referee, turns right back around to a big clothesline on the ramp from Jax. Trainees boo Jax. Jax stands over Asuka and drops the mask over her, with Asuka's face painted under her eyes. Stare down as the music plays. Charlie's backstage with Lana, asking about MVP versus Drew McIntyre. We see a replay of her earlier backstage segment with MVP, where she said MVP is trying to use her Bobby to revive his wash-up career. MVP denied and said Lana is trying to do the same thing. Lana then slapped MVP and walks off. Charlie says Lashley has asked Lana to stay away from ringside so she doesn't distract. Charlie asks Lana if she thinks that's Lashley or MVP's idea. Lana says she's not sure. Actually, she knows that wasn't her Bobby. He would never do that. Her Bobby requested she stay away from the ring during his match, but he never said anything about MVP's match. Lana giggles and walks off back to commercial. Drew McIntyre versus MVP. Back for the break. Out first comes Bobby Lashley. MVP was out next for a non-title main event. MVP greets Lashley and enters the ring. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre was out next for a pop. Drew poses with the title before we get ready to start. Lana's music hits and out she comes before they get going. Drew smiles, but MVP and Lashley aren't happy. Lana walks around Lashley at ringside. Bell rings and Drew unloads on MVP in the corner. MVP fights out, but Drew turns it right back around and beats him down in the corner. Drew with a big chops in the corner as Lashley looks on. Drew blocks the shot from MVP and levels him with a clothesline. Drew drops MVP with a Glasgow kiss headbutt, sending him out of the ring to the floor. Drew goes out and stares at Lashley to warn him. MVP takes advantage of the distraction, sending Drew into steel steps and then a plexiglass barrier. MVP brings Drew back in and floors him with a big boot. MVP covers, but Drew kicks out at one. MVP strikes, but Drew clotheslines him again. Drew keeps control as Lashley looks worried. Drew goes to the top and nails the flying right hand to MVP. Nothing more than an axe handle chop. Drew kicks up for another pop. Drew waits in the corner for MVP to get up with a countdown. Lashley pulls MVP out to safety before the Claymore kick can be delivered. Drew runs and launches himself over the top rope to the floor, taking Lashley and MVP down. Drew returns to the ring with MVP and countdown, delivers a big Claymore for the pin and the win. After the bell, Lashley immediately hits the ring before Drew can get to his feet from the pin. Lashley applies full Nelson to Drew and manhandles him in the middle of the ring for a few seconds as Raw goes off the air with Drew still stuck in the full Nelson with shaking the feet going around in the air. Well, we seen Rey Mysterio appear in the segment with Son Donovan, live by satellite from their son. The segment aired after Seth Rollins hosted a retirement What happened after Raw went off the air? Off the air was that Ray was interrupted by his son. Was shown, who said someone from his family needs to be the one to teach Rollins a lesson and get payback for what he did. Ray tried to talk to his son down, but Dominic warned Rollins eye for an eye. Rollins responded to the warning during last night's return of Raw Talk on the WWE Network, hosted by Samoa Joe and Charlie Caruso. Caruso asked Rollins if he had a response to the threat. Dominic is a young man. I understand his position, but I believe that he is just a little confused, Rollins answered. I think he needs to take a step back. I think he needs to understand that this isn't a personal attack on his father. That's not what this is. This was a necessary sacrifice. Dominic, I've seen him make his way between these ropes. I've seen what he is capable of. There's a bright future awaiting Dominic, and I know just a person that could lead him to that future. It will be interesting to see if this leads to some sort of in-ring action for Dominic, who started training for a career in pro wrestling a year or two ago. Rollins vs. Mysterio has been rumored for the WWE Backlash pay-per-view on June 14th, but not officially announced as of this video because of a contract issue that Ray has not signed yet. And that's the conclusion of my video for this week. Thanks and peace out. See you when I'm in. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.